People. They're everywhere. And whether or not people are your thing, God put us together for a reason, and He talks about it all throughout His Word. From the very beginning, He said it's not good for man to be alone, and He started the first family. We need each other because just like iron sharpens iron, one person sharpens another, and we could all use a little sharpening. Together, we can carry each other's burdens when times get tough. We receive encouragement, we build one another up, and sometimes we just need someone to be there and to listen. We can't do everything on our own, but maybe that's the point. In the body of Christ, you're part of a community, a group of people who all struggle but are devoted to one another in love. Meeting together, serving each other, learning that everyone has their flaws, and reaching our cities with a message of grace. So today, we want to help you find your people and get you connected with the group. Because after all, we're designed by God to be better together.
Hey, welcome friends. Today we're talking with Senior Pastor Brandon Mathis. My name is Brent Curtice. I'm the Celebration Church Small Group Coordinator. And today we're going to talk about the purpose of small groups. Why do we have them? Why are they so important at Celebration Church? So Brandon, welcome. Tell us about why are small groups important?
Thanks, Brent. Obviously, these podcasts that we're putting out is a big deal. Let's talk just for a minute about why we have small groups at Celebration Church. The Bible describes in Acts chapter 2 a one anothering that we are to do together within Scripture. And I just want to lay out a little bit of what that looks like and what we're trying to accomplish with our groups. And so in Acts chapter 2, verse 42, I believe it is, it tells us this. And they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, and to the fellowship, and to the breaking of bread and the prayers. And awe came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. And all who believed were together and had all things in common. And they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need, and day by day they were attending the temple together and breaking bread in their homes, and they received their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having favor with all of the people. And the Lord added to their number day by day those who were being saved. The reason why we have celebration groups is largely because we want to do what the picture of the early church did. And our goal here is really to one another together. And we have three main purposes for our groups. We want accountability, we want prayer, but ultimately we just want fellowship. Our fellowship is intended to build and to grow as a church. It's not intended to be just you showing up on Sunday and have one person show their gifts to everybody and then everybody goes home. The fellowship of the body is perhaps the most important part of the church. And when it comes down to it, the church is not a place, but it's a people. And being able to identify as this people is so foundationally important. You compound that with the statistical reality that when you step into a new church, if you do not get connected into a community, statistically, you are no longer associated with that church within 5 years. 80% of all people who join a church are no longer connected to a church without being a part of a community. And so that's part of the reason why we feel like it's so important here at Celebration to have celebration groups. This is where you find your best friends. This is where you find your home, your community, your relationships that are going to last the course of a lifetime.
You know, I know as a testimony from my wife and I, when we started and we joined a small group, it really gives you a chance also to kind of review your sermon from Sunday.
Yeah.
And that became another important part of our learning and our spiritual growth. When you have a chance to sit around with brothers and sisters of the same faith and then be able to talk about what did we hear on Sunday? Where did that come from?
You know, it's part of the larger model of discipleship we have in our church. So largely, we want our small groups to have relational discipleship. And that's where we have discussion. And it's not just about friendships, but it's about friendships around the Word. And when we explore deeper what happens on Sunday, we're able to take a lot of the things that we talk about on Sunday and invest them in people's lives in such a way that it actually sticks. And so it actually works very, very well. As far as community goes, I mean, at Celebration, we've had so much growth that it's actually sometimes hard to find that relational discipleship, that community that you're looking for. And I remember in the early church, early days of Celebration, when I came at least, there was such a vital relational community already here. And I think part of the value of that is that it was all organic. It all worked so well organically. But as we continued to grow, more and more, we saw the inability for people to know everybody in the church just on a Sunday morning.
Right.
And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to take our celebration groups and structure them into our model of ministry so that we could preserve the community feel, the community aspect of our church, and continue to have the relationships. While you can't know everybody, you can know your celebration group.
Well, I know that you've really emphasized to all the group leaders and to the congregation the importance of a relationship. Mm-hmm. By far, that is more important, of meeting somewhere where it's safe, mm-hmm. an environment where you can sit and talk as brothers and sisters, or should events occur where you need a smaller group to come to your aid, they come.
Yeah.
And I just find it fascinating. Is that something that goes on in a lot of churches? Is this a new idea, or what's your thinking about that?
You know, there's been a battle between more modernist churches and more traditional churches, and they like to pit Sunday school against small groups, and they like to fight about that. We don't like to fight about that here at Celebration. We think both have a role. And, you know, probably celebration groups or small groups in general really got to start about 20 or so years ago in some of the more forward-thinking churches. Before that, it was almost all exclusively Sunday school classes. But if we were to, you know, even look back 100 or 150 years, small groups were actually more normal then. It was only really in the 30s and 40s that you see Sunday school start taking over from small groups. And when that started happening, the shift was almost complete when we realized that we really lost something when we got rid of our small groups and small group models, because the relationships didn't flow as well as they should have. And so in some ways it's new, but in other ways it's almost as if we're returning to our roots here.
Well, and you still offer all the rest besides small groups.
Yes.
So you offer the still Bible study classes, you offer kids ministry. There's a lot going on the side, and this incredible component called small groups.
Yes. And I will say, while we do offer all sorts of Bible studies and ministries and things like that, we want to really make sure everybody knows that our goal here is celebration groups. This is the most important ministry in our whole church. If you're not in a celebration group, you are missing out on some of the most important relationships that you should have. And just the fact that relational discipleship isn't happening in your life makes it really, really challenging to grow in the Lord, because you can gain all of the intellectual knowledge that you want, but really celebration groups are geared in such a way that it forces you to live what you know out in real life. And so that's why our groups are so important. So don't think that, man, I don't think I should be in a celebration group, or it's not a valuable thing to be in a celebration group. Our celebration groups are the backbone of what we do at Celebration, and everything else is added on after that.
And so currently, how many groups, how many in each group typically do we have?
As far as group sizes go, you're probably going to step into one of our celebration groups and find somewhere between 12 and 20 on an average week.
Right.
And in that group, you'll find great community, usually some pretty great food, and some good fellowship and some good prayer together. We currently have about 16 groups in our model of ministry, 13 traditional celebration groups and a few special celebration groups like youth group and CR
Sure.
and a parents group and things like that. So 16 groups that we go through. Most of these are meeting in people's homes all across Montrose. And that's there for us to be able to find almost any night of the week, almost any type of group that you would like. We have so many different options for people.
So, and also in those small groups, you've designed it where there are 2 leaders and 2 co-leaders. So leadership is abundant to handle the number of people that come.
Yes. We here at Celebration really like to lead in plurality. And a lot of that means that when we look at our groups, we're not trying to just put all the weight of leadership or responsibility on one guy, but we multiply those responsibilities and share the load. So that it's not too heavy on any one person.
So even though the church is growing, people are just engrossed in this small group of knowing people and learning more about the sermon that typically you don't get to have. What's next? What do you see as the pastor as the next step for this?
Well, I think at least for our groups, we have so many new people coming that what we need is people who are willing to step up and say, I'm willing to be a group leader. I'm willing to open up my home, or I'm willing to put the hard work in of shepherding and discipling the people who may come to my group. The biggest reason why we don't have more groups, because honestly, if I'm fully transparent here, we need about 25 groups to be able to accommodate all of the people that we have at our church. And all the people who want to be a part of our group. And so we need more group leaders to be able to even just meet the needs that we currently have. But as we continue to grow, that issue is exacerbated over and over again. And so I'm super grateful for all the leaders that we currently have who are stepping up and saying, I'm willing to make a sacrifice in the middle of my week to open up my home or to lead one of these groups, and we're super grateful for that. But we just need more people who are willing to step up and say, here I am, Lord, send me.
Yeah. How powerful it is that all these group leaders are volunteers.
Yeah.
They are giving their heart and soul not only to the Lord and the words, but also to the church, and supplying needs, whatever met. The church comes in also and helps when needed. We also supply training in whatever the group leaders need.
That's right.
It's a pretty powerful piece that you just don't see in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So if I'm new to Celebration Church, how do I sign up?
It's a great question.
I'm hooked. I want to go.
That's a great question. We have strong pushes every January and every August. So essentially, when we have these pushes, we have every person in every group re-sign up for a group. It's a really good on-ramp for new people who are interested in joining a group, and it's a pretty good off-ramp in case your group, you're like, man, I'd rather try some other groups, or I'd rather explore other options. Every January and every August, we're having new people sign up, and we have different people who move around to different groups. We have different leaders. We have new groups who start up. If you're brand new to Celebration, I would encourage you to get into one of our newest groups. The best groups are the ones where new people are all coming together at the same time and experiencing what Celebration Groups has to offer all at the same time. And so I'd encourage that. We try to have new groups every semester that we do our groups, and so we're hopeful come January that we're going to have a few new groups for new people.
So really, there's no reason why you can't. I mean, there's sign-up sheets, there's plenty of people to talk to, and hearing you as this is the heartbeat of the church, and you want people to join. So we want people to join these groups. What else have we not covered that might be on your heart about small groups?
You know, we say it's the backbone of our church, and we put so much into this. If you feel a calling from the Lord to step in as a new group leader, or maybe you're a co-leader and you want to step into that leadership role, we want you to know you will be the primary shepherd of your people. You are discipling your people, and you are growing your people in your group more than I ever can. because you are close to whatever situation that your people are walking to, and you're able to love them and help them grow in some really, really amazing ways. And so we need people who are willing to step in and step up and say, I'm willing to do this challenging but incredibly rewarding work.
Well, I thank you for being here. It's always fun to do podcasts with you.
Yeah.
And look forward to our next one. And to all our friends out there, to all our brothers and sisters, get in a small group. If you have questions, come to Celebration Church, ask anybody. They'll help you get whatever you need to become part of our family.